Consider that your congratulations on getting the high score of the week, Driz. Thought I'd use some intro music that I know you like. Anywho, let me just cue up my little timer here quick. Alright. That's how I'm going to make sure that my videos don't run too fucking long. Anyhow, the theme of Chad's 2 cents for week 2 is exactly, it's all about the number 1. Okay? By that I mean it's just one game, it's just 1 week. So everybody who lost this week, I'm just trying to talk you off the ledge a little bit, myself included, and everybody who won who might be getting a bit of an inflated sense of ego, I'm trying to take you down a peg. It's just the first week, man. So much could change at any given point. You have no idea what's coming in week 2. But anyhow, now that I got that little intro out of the way, let's pull up the scoreboard and see exactly what happened here. First of all, special thank you to everybody's friend Cupcake, because if it hadn't been for him, I'd be the sucker who got the poop of the week in week 1. So thank you for that, Cupcake. That was super. I guess since I already brought that up, let's just go ahead and talk about Cupcake's matchup real quick with Bobby here. See exactly what happened to him. If my computer will cooperate. Sorry guys, this is the downside of making videos instead of typing shit out. But anyhow, yeah, Cupcake basically got shat on by everybody who wasn't Jimmy Graham, Jeremy Maclin, or Colin Kaepernick. Everybody else is sitting there in single digits. I mean, Jets defense had 12 points, but that ain't exactly anything great. Bobby, on the other hand, Andrew Luck looked like a superstar. Matt Forte looked like you were justified in taking him number 1 overall. You know, Doug Martin makes it look like you're going to have a bit of a problem at your number 2 running back spot, but I guess we'll just have to see how that goes. You know, so good week 1 for Bobby. Congratulations on the win, and I would say better luck in week 2, Cupcake, but you and I are playing each other, so I don't want you to have better luck in week 2. We'll see how it goes. Moving on to my matchup with Jeff. I mean, I had a couple more guys show up than Cupcake did, but Aaron Rodgers, you know, having to play that buzzsaw of a defense in Seattle, what the fuck are you going to do? I mean, Jeff basically experienced some of the same problems in that game because his lowest score of the week other than his kicker was Eddie Lacy. So we both suffered from that one. But, you know, I kind of have some shit luck out of the gate, seeing as how I had 2 guys get hurt in the week of practice that led up to week 1, and all of a sudden Michael Crabtree and Andre Ellington don't look like the great draft picks that I thought they were as of draft day. You know, I can't take this win away from Jeff, though. $135 is still a completely respectable score. So good for you, Jeff. The Sankey Percys and the Sweatshop Savants. This was actually a hell of a matchup because Zach scored almost as much as Jeff did, and he was in a losing effort thanks to fucking 3 touchdowns from Julius Thomas. How often do you think you're going to get that bake? You know, we'll see. But, I mean, it's actually kind of funny. Really, the only real disappointment of Bake's team in week one was Jamal Charles. So, I mean, 15 from Spiller, 17 from Bolden. I mean, he's got double digits across the board here, except for fucking Jamal Charles. So, good on you, Bake. You're looking strong in week one. Zach, I told you I liked your team. You just had some bad luck having to play somebody who topped $1.50 in week one. But more on that near the end of the 2 cents. Moving on to the Philly Freaks and the DC Cavalry. I'm gonna keep saying it like that until you change the fucking spelling, Brett. Calvary. This is pretty much the same thing that I was just talking about in this matchup. Both guys had respectable showings. It's just one guy busted over $1.50 and the other guy couldn't get north of $1.40. I mean, Riley Cooper kind of sucked ice, and so did Vincent Jackson, if you're Pat. But then on the opposite side, Demaryius Thomas and Keenan Allen were really disappointing for Brett. So, I mean, there's really not much I can say about that one that I didn't just say about the last matchup. All right. Moving on to Mr. High Score of the Week. By the way, I really like your picture for your team there, man, of Calvin as a chipmunk. That's good stuff. You had a hell of a week one, Driz, but I question the consistency of your team. Not so much because of your team, but more because it's you. Because let's face it, throughout the history of Shit Talk Central, you're the poor bastard who always ends up having a good team, but somehow constantly gets fucked over by the fact that everybody outscores him by just a little bit, even when he's having a great week. Now, that didn't happen in week one. Basically, you pulled the reverse on Holtz, who, if he hadn't been playing you, would have beaten anybody else. So that totally sucks for you, Holtz. But, you guys both look solid. I mean, it's just a matter of one guy being the best team of the week and the other guy who's playing him, who just happens to be second best that week. We've all been there, Holtz. It sucks, but you'll have better weeks ahead. Man, Torrey Smith fucking sucks, though. I told you that guy was balls. Anyhow, let's jump ahead to week two, gentlemen. See some of these matchups that we've got upcoming. Sorry, I am at the mercy of my internet. Bear with me for a fucking second. Don't be a dick about it. Okay. Well, we got me going up against Cupcake. Looks like somebody who sucked in week one is going to win in week two, I really have no idea who it's going to be. Honestly, I think that Shit Talk Central right now could be in for one of its craziest years. Not so much because of the teams or the people involved, but I think we're all going to be doing a lot of guessing lately and here in the future based on the way NFL teams are running their running back situations. I mean, you got teams that are not only working with two-man committees, you got guys who had 3 or even in some cases 4 running backs on the field this past Sunday. That is just going to make headaches upon headaches for us fantasy owners. So that's, there's going to be an element of you got to get lucky that has never really existed in Shit Talk Central before. Yes, there are still a couple of us who are lucky enough to have what we call feature backs, but even those guys seem like they're losing touches. I mean, just as an example, look what Darren Sproles was able to do, even though LaShawn McCoy got a pretty hefty workload. It's going to be ridiculous. Oh, and just because I know everybody has an opinion on this, and I want to get mine on record, the poll that Jeff put up about Ray Rice, I do think he got what he deserved. But here's the thing. What pisses me off about the whole thing is that I think double jeopardy kind of applies here. And if you don't know the double jeopardy rule, what it basically says is you can't be punished twice for the same crime after you've been convicted the first time. Now, I know the NFL is not a legal body, so to speak, so I guess that doesn't apply to them. But it kind of pissed me off that everybody already knew what happened in that fucking elevator. I don't think it was exactly a secret. And then just because they saw the video, all of a sudden it's time to overreact like a motherfucker. And now, overreact is the wrong term, because like I said, he got what the fuck he deserved. But still, after you had already handed everything down, when you knew exactly what happened, and then to go back and add to it just because a video gets leaked, I don't know. As much as I think he was a piece of shit for doing that, I also think that thanks to the media, he got a little bit fucked. You know, but I don't need to defend that motherfucker. He plays for Baltimore. That ain't my problem. Anyhow, looking at some of these other matchups here, here's another interesting one. Pat, who had a good week and lost in week 1, takes on Baker, you know, who, oddly enough, as much as we were all making fun of him having a team that is essentially a hospital ward, it seems like he made it through week 1 fairly unscathed. Good for you, Bake. Here's another good one, a matchup I always enjoy, Jeff versus Justin, because you know there will always be some good shit talk happening there. Brett and Bobby is another good one. We got 2 week 1 winners facing off, and they both look strong. But all that said, see, I knew that was going to happen. See, my timing is actually getting better on these things. That's my 3-minute warning, essentially, that tells me that it's time to get to Chad's matchup of the week. And this week, it is between 2 guys who lost in week 1, who probably had every right to win. That's Mundy and Holtz. Let's just look at this matchup for a second here. Now, Mundy's got Matt Stafford going against Carolina. You know, I don't know. Everybody seems to think their defense is still for real, but if you ask me, they played the Bucs in week 1. Should that really impress anyone? No, I don't know. But then he's got Monte Ball against KC. That seems like it would be good. Cordero Patterson, while I don't expect him to be everything he was in week 1, should be good against New England. I don't know what Mundy's planning on doing at tight end, given the Jordan Cameron situation, so that could definitely be interesting, because he's got Charles Clay on his bench, but it looks like he's questionable too. Who knows? Holtz, on the other hand, having both Foles and McCoy playing in Indianapolis on Monday night, I've heard a lot of people say that they think that's going to be a shootout. I think there might be some more defensive plays than people actually think get made on that particular game. So it's going to be interesting. But in any event, like I said, guys, this is just 1 week. Anything could fucking happen. But I'm about to reach my 15-minute time limit, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick a winner here and just say, you know what, I'm going to go with Holtz. I'm going to go with Holtz to get the win. I'll see you guys in week 3. Peace.